Hello, I'm Lynette, and today in my painting, I am adding a little gold to my black and white abstract art. I can think of it like when I'm in nature, looking up at the sky. It's when I see the sun, it's breaking through the clouds, and it adds that touch of magic to the sky, and the things get a nice glow to it. So that's how I'm thinking of these paintings. It's something a little bit extra, and it can completely transform a piece, or it can transform the sky, the mood. So I'm going to see how this little spark of light can change the whole mood of my painting. And I'm excited to see how just this one color can transform them. So let's get started. And I have an 11 by 14 inch paper, and I just put some black paint on a sponge, and I'm going to start making marks. Let's see how they turn out. Some wide strokes. Now I want to do some really thin ones. I use the little squeeze bottle with acrylic paint in there and make some marks. Now I'll take a medium brush and just move that around a little bit. What other marks can I make? I always turn it around. See it from a new perspective. Look at the space in between. Positive space, negative space, different types of lines. Can I rub another piece of paper on to make those lines different, to then duplicate some of those lines? That certainly takes away a lot of the decision-making process when I do that. Now I've sped this up a little bit because it's already dry, because I want to just make it into smaller paintings and tear it. And I won't stop there. I'll fold it once more, see what I get. And this is always a surprise, right? You think you know what they're going to look like, and then you tear it and you get either little gems that you love, or you get pieces that, well, they may need a little bit of work. So these actually are quite interesting, just as black and whites. Like when you look at each one, they have a nice variety of wide strokes, thin, the negative, positive space in them. Looks really nice. They could actually work just themselves. But I've decided to take one color, this golden shade of raw sienna, and I'm going to use that on the paintings. Just add a little bit of sunshine to it, add a little bit of brightness, see what it looks like. And now it's just making marks again. Put one over top of one another, get a straight line. I didn't like that line going right into the corner, so I needed to change it. I like the transparency of this paint. Added some water so I can see the black through it. And I'm going to use some white as well with it, just to get a little bit more opacity happening. This one feels a little bit heavy on the black. So I'm going to see if I can lighten that up a little bit. And as I usually do, I put some paint on and I wipe it off. I like the layers that happen, the depth that it creates with it. It's so interesting to me. And it adds that history of the painting because you can see what happens. It's almost like the painting is telling its own story. This is what I did first, and then this is what I did second. So if I want to make this a series, I will put that same paint on the other paintings, just so that they coordinate with one another, that they blend together. This one, instead of wiping off, I just scratched out some marks because there again, you can see what's happening underneath it. Okay, I can't resist. I have to wipe off. Still thinking, what should I do? Even though I did edit this video, I do allow some time for just thinking, looking at things, trying them in different positions, flipping them over. How do they react to one another? What are the strokes like? Can this stroke play with the other one? Can it dance and be a partner with the other painting? And by working on all the paintings at the same time, they're going to have all the feeling and the brush strokes and the movement that's happening at that time. I find that even though it's me, and even when it's my same hand, it's my same paint brushes, from day to day, I can see different marks. Could be the mood I'm in. It could be the way the paint is mixed. Maybe it's a little bit thicker. So when I'm doing something like this, I do like to do them at the same time, so they at least have the same feeling in them. And then they need that contrast of the thin line again, because I covered some of those thin lines up, so I want to bring them out again. And what if I just push some paint around with the stick? There's a big glob on there. And put the paint that's on the stick in another part of the painting. And if there's too much paint, I just rub it on another painting. And that, again, it gets rid of the decision-making process at some point. You can just have fun and go, okay, I'm going to do this. It's going to be a surprise. Let's rub it on the paper, on the other painting, and then I react to it. It's like a fun challenge every time. And because I had some straight lines in the other ones, I want to add a straight edge on this one too. And what do they look like together? I like the gold. It's very uplifting, yet it's still very neutral. Ooh, and I like that. Like that bold stroke. Now, see, I tried to do something with that shape. Sometimes you wish you had that undo button in real life. But that's what happens. So you just keep on working and see what else you can make of it. And as for, these are looking pretty good. I'm quite liking them. So let's see what they look like without the background of the paint, the working paper. And so when I look at these, if they were to go in a sequence, I look at how the colors are going with one another. Oh, those first two don't work because they're just, I don't want them to be in a row. So I will change that. And then they still don't work quite right together. That's better because they act still as individual paintings and yet still blend with one another. And those two match, so I'm going to flip them over. And so I look at where the gold is happening, where the whites are happening. And that's a nice flow. Look at the rhythm. So let's see if I can do this. If they're horizontal, I don't like the white going off the end of the page if, for example, they were 4-framed. And then I watch if there's white space trapped in the middle, or see these two, they line up again. I seem to just want to do that. I do that so often. And I like how these are looking. It's flowing nicely. White space, black, gold. I like them. And thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Comment below and subscribe to see more. And on my website, you can sign up for my newsletter where I give extra information. The link is below. See you soon.